Hi, have you ever felt completely drained but couldn't explain why? Not because of the rush at work, but simply because of life. You fall asleep and wake up tired. Things that used to bring you joy now irritate you or make you indifferent. Sound familiar? Congratulations! You may be experiencing that same emotional burnout that has long since spread beyond the office. Today we'll talk about parental, creative, and life burnout, how to recognize it early, and what to do to not just patch up holes, but truly recover.
Part 1. What is burnout today? Expanding the concept.
We typically think of burnout as fatigue from working with people, teachers, doctors, managers. But the truth is, emotional burnout occurs when there's chronic stress and prolonged emotional exhaustion without sufficient replenishment. And it can be anything. Parental burnout, when you're a mom or dad 24/7, and the concepts of personal time, quiet time, or just chilling out disappear from the dictionary. It's 24/7 work, no days off, no praise, no pay raises. Creative burnout, or passion burnout, affects freelancers, artists, bloggers, and anyone who's turned a hobby into a full-time job. The pressure to keep up with a schedule, uncertainty, and the mixing of work and play are the perfect recipe. Existential burnout, the most insidious. When everything seems fine, there's work, family, and home, but there's no sense of meaning, joy, or drive. Life turns into a routine on autopilot. This burnout stems from the very role of an adult who carries everyone, solves all the problems, and yet is completely exhausted. The common denominator: you give the world, children, the project, family, more energy than you receive in return, and your internal battery has run out.
Part 2. How to tell if it's the real deal. Freudenberger's Diagnostics, and a simple checklist.
Psychologist Herbert Freudenberger, who coined the term, described the phases of burnout. They resemble a descent down a staircase. 1. The I need to try even harder phase. You begin to take on too much, working yourself to the point of exhaustion to prove, to yourself or others, that you could do anything. A common symptom is refusing to rest and devaluing breaks. 2. The neglecting your needs phase, sleep, food, and meeting with friends. Everything becomes secondary. First I'll finish this, then you begin to have trouble sleeping and eating on the run. 3. The repression of conflicts phase. You notice something is wrong, but you don't want to admit it. Irritability increases, but you attribute it to external circumstances. Frequent colds and headaches may begin. Your body is signaling. 4. The loss of efficiency phase. Your thoughts become confused, your concentration declines. You work/do a lot, but the results are meager. Cynicism and a feeling of emptiness increase. 5. The emotional exhaustion phase. Your feelings become dull. You have no energy for either joy or anger. Apathy and indifference to everything. Even the things you once loved prevail. 6. The depression and despair phase. A feeling of hopelessness and thoughts of, I'm no good for anything emerge. This is a serious condition that requires professional help. A simple self-diagnosis checklist. Answer, often or rarely. Do you wake up tired? Have you found it difficult to concentrate on simple tasks? Do people who ask for your attention, children, partner, colleagues, irritate you? Do you do everything under duress because you can't do it? Do you feel like nothing's changing and your efforts are useless? Have you stopped enjoying hobbies and leisure activities? Do you find yourself thinking, I just don't feel like doing anything? If you answered often to most of these questions, you're at risk of or already experiencing burnout.
Part 3. First aid plan. What to do right now when you have no strength.
When your battery is dead, you can't recharge it in 5 minutes. But you can start. These steps aren't a cure, but rather a resuscitation. Step 1. Acknowledge and name it. The most important thing is to say out loud, I'm burned out. I'm exhausted. My resources are at zero. This isn't a weakness, but a diagnosis. It's the beginning of the road to recovery. Step 2, micro-recovery. Don't try to take a month off, although that would be ideal. Start with 15 minutes a day that are just yours. No phone, no thoughts of work. A cup of tea in silence, a short walk around the block, or simply lying down with your eyes closed. Your goal isn't to spend time productively, but to do nothing for others. Step 3. Physical anchoring. Your body is your ally. The simplest steps will help you break free from the grip of your thoughts. Breathing for 7-8. Inhale for 4. Hold for 7. Exhale for 8. 3 to 5 cycles. Contrast shower. Literally 1 to 2 minutes. Walk 20 minutes at a leisurely pace, looking around, not at your phone. Step 4. Lower your standards to 0. Let go of perfectionism. A less than perfectly cooked dinner, a slightly dirty floor, unanswered messages. That's okay. Your main goal now is to conserve energy, not be perfect.
Part 4. Long-term recovery. How to reset your life.
First aid stabilizes condition. Next, you need to change the system to avoid falling into this pit again. 1. Resource audit, energy income and energy expenditure. Take a piece of paper. Divide it into 2 columns. What drains me? Expenses, for example, endless school chats, toxic communication, endless routine tasks. What fills me? Incomes, for example, talking with my best friend, dancing, reading, nature, creativity. Tasks. Consciously begin to reduce the expenses column, delegate, refuse, simplify, and systematically on a schedule add incomes to your life. At least 1 small thing a day. 2. Setting boundaries is about self-love. Learn to say no without guilt. Explain to loved ones, I need an hour of quiet time in the evening to recharge so I can be a good mother/partner with you. Boundaries aren't walls, but rules for how you use your energy. 3. Reassess your values and create meaning. Ask yourself, why am I doing all this? What's truly important to me? Burnout often occurs when we spend too much time living someone else's life. Find small rituals that remind you of your values. For example, if you value health, you might do a 15-minute workout. If you value creativity, you might keep a sketchbook. This creates support, conclusion, and a specific plan for 21 days. So, the road to recovery begins with diagnosis, goes through the emergency room, and leads to systemic change. Your homework for the next 3 weeks. Week 1, diagnosis, and the emergency room, complete the checklist. Every day, complete 1 step in the first aid plan. Today, 15 minutes of silence. Tomorrow, a contrast shower, etc. Week 2, audit, complete the energy income and energy expenses table. Choose 1 expense to cut and 1 income to schedule. Week 3, boundaries and meaning practice, saying 1 polite no. Create and implement 1 small daily ritual that reflects your value. For example, write down 3 good things that day before bed. Burnout isn't a death sentence. It's a sign that you've been driving on the spare tire for too long. It's time to stop and do some serious repairs. If you recognize yourself in this video, comment. This describes me. Share which area, parenting, creativity, life, you're burning out on. Community support is also a powerful resource. Like if you learned useful tools and subscribe to the channel, there's plenty of practical psychology to be found for challenging times. Take care. You're the only one with you. Until next time,